for today's cup of coffee with scream and scream and scream and scream and scream. Oh my God, the screaming. Yeah, I really think that we need to just start wearing a GoPro.
Your body
I really do. Yeah.
Body cam.
Yeah, and then just release clips of our lives. Just random. Because that could work.
Nana said, there's been quite a few people in our family that said this. If we would write a book about our lives and our family, we would have to put it under fiction because no one would believe it.
Yeah. That's for real. Yeah.
You said that. Someone else in the family said that. Nana has said that.
Yeah. Because it's true. You just couldn't make this shit up. You really couldn't. I'm creative. I'm not that damn creative.
There's a reason why I get onto my friend about torturing his characters in his stories.
Okay, why? Why would he want to do that?
That's what I asked him. And I'm like, could you write a good story with a happy ending just once, please? And he's like, yeah, there is one. There's one. And it's not that great of an ending as far as happy. And I'm like, why do you torture your fictional characters? We live fucked up lives in real life.
Yeah, and I don't know. People do that. I don't know.
Please, just once. To give a story that's good.
Okay.
Happy.
I don't know. I don't know. Dealing with our broken healthcare system.
Oh, yeah.
In the Appalachian Mountains. And you talk about just wanting to pull your hair out. Now, this is idiocy, not in the funny ha-ha sense.
It is such bullshit.
This is idiocy that brings people harm and then some.
Yeah.
And this is not the first incident. And it's not just our family. Yeah. And oldest kid at the time of this recording, which is on February the 3rd, 2025, he has shown improvement, so they have moved him out of the section that he was in. And it has just been a maddening experience. It truly has, to deal with the bullshit. And it's just like, now I had my oppositional defiant disorder.
He got bumped up from the ICU to the CCU.
No, he was in CCU to begin with. Okay. I thought that ICU has lower protocol as far as it's not as bad as CCU. See, we were confused. I thought he was in ICU. And I think, God love her, I think BB she's
frazzled.
Yeah, and as far as hospital and stuff. What happened, and I'm going to try to put this briefly, and I'm not violating HIPAA, but
at least there was no one screaming this time.
Huh?
At least there was no one screaming this time.
That's true. That's true. He was in the ER yesterday with somebody that was randomly screaming, and I was a corrections officer. It didn't faze me.
It reminded me of the Buffalo Bill, and I was like, do I need to play the song too? And go, ah!
Oh, God. And then being a mental health counselor, it didn't faze me. It was just like, yeah, well, there goes one. Because I have some emotional numbing because of all the shit over the years. I really do. But I make it work for me. Kid needed to go to the ER yesterday morning, and I have stopped putting my cell phone in my bedroom because it does mess with my sleep.
Mm-hmm. It does.
And so, youngest kid over there, I don't know, his cell phone was buried or whatever, and so God bless Omega. And please say a prayer for that man, that God blesses him abundantly beyond his wildest dreams.
Yes, please. Because the American healthcare system has fucked him over so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he got up, took oldest kid's wife, and my mother. I don't know why she needed to go, but she needed to go to the ER, one of the ERs that's in our county. And basically, they dismissed him and sent him home. He had to ask to have an IV. Now, this is a kid that has had meningitis before. He's had sepsis before. He has had some really severe, weird medical issues for years.
And he was heavily dehydrated.
And
the fact that first hospital would not give him an IV without him asking.
He had asked, had said something about his throat being a little bit sore. They had basically rushed him out the door. Mm-hmm. And when he asked for a copy of blood work or anything that they had done, they said, check the My Portal. So he had come home. His wife calls me and she's like, look, his temperature has gone up to 103 and he is vomiting. And it's like, all right. And the kid was concerned that he was dying. I mean, truly.
He looked like he was dying.
And so it was a matter of, okay, call back over there to the ER and see what they say. And it was, oh, we can't tell you anything. You could come back. And I said, call the rescue squad, get them to transport him to a hospital in the county next to us. Mm-hmm. And so by the time that I got there and everything, on his blood pressure, it's always systolic over diastolic. And it has to do with the, pumping of the blood and stuff like that. His diastolic was in the 40s. That's dangerous. People here, they think high blood pressure. Oh, no. You can go into like a coma and different things like that if your blood pressure is too low. You will fall out.
Mm-hmm. Which he basically was.
And so I said, they discharged him from the other ER with his blood pressure being like this. So I am going to be contacting an attorney.
Mm-hmm. Because that was malpractice right there. That was neglect.
And it's like they keep wanting to say, oh, he's got COVID, he's got COVID, he's got COVID. I said, how the hell can he have COVID? He hasn't been out of the house in months. None of the rest of us have COVID.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I'm type 1 diabetic. If it was going to hit anybody, it would hit me. 80-year-old mother is fine.
Yeah, it would have hit her.
And so they keep harping on this. Oh, it's this, it's this, it's this. And I told them, I said, you do understand that these PCR tests have been proven to be inaccurate. They don't listen.
Yeah, those doctors just, they blindly trust the science or whatever they're given or told to, use.
And
they blindly trust it.
But he is doing some better. Thus the fact that they were able to change him. They did do testing to make sure that they did say something about his adrenals were not functioning the way that they should be. There was the severe dehydration. Okay, why? Why the hell was there severe dehydration? Because as far as the vomiting, that had not gone on for a prolonged period of time. And I'm sorry for those of y'all just waking up, because this is just shop talk. Those of us that have worked in these fields, it's just, yeah. Mm-hmm. To ask questions. And youngest kid is right. Most of these people blindly believe. Mm-hmm. And that was just like they had him in this room, and as far as the nurse, oh, you've got to come in here. And I thought, do not start that shit with me. So I just looked at her.
Back down.
I just looked at her, and there was a older gentleman that was a veteran, and I had a wonderful chat with him. He was great. Because she had walked off at that point, and I said, I used to be a corrections officer. I said, she would do really good at that job. She might want to consider that sometime. And he laughed because he knew I was right.
Yeah.
People who are former military or something have absolutely no problem with me. They understand. And that's, he had been in the Army, in the infantry back in the day. And I was like, hey, my father was a Marine. He got it. Mm-hmm. Other people, it's like, what the hell is she? Let me tell you. like I said, either people will say either military or law enforcement. And it's like, well, I've had both in my family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just
We come from a rough bunch.
Yeah, it's a no nonsense way of speaking.
It's you're putting the fries in the bag, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can blindside some people because they're not used to that sort of thing.
It's called giving an order, giving a command, being told what to do, doing whatever it is, without having to have a dissertation, a pat on the head, a pat on the ass, and 15 gummy bears. I mean, no, you just do what needs to be done.
Yeah, you're being direct.
Yes. Yes, very no nonsense.
Yeah.
Because when you are in high stress jobs, especially if it's dealing with other people's lives, you don't need all the bullshit. We have recently seen what all that bullshit does. It brings destruction.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as far as the lady sitting there, you got to put on the gown and the gloves, and then you got to do this and that. No.
Cap, gown, gloves, mask. What next? Hazmat suit?
Well,
Goggles? Do we got to do full body Lysol?
I was
We
standing
threatened
there,
that.
and God love her, BB, and her Scorpio self. She's just walking in and out. She was ignoring everything that they said. Don't blame her. Don't blame her.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to play by the rules. But when I first got there, I said, I'd like to discuss as far as the different lab work and different things like that. And they're like, we can't tell you anything. And the woman's like, first of all, and what relation to? I said, I am his mother. I said, this is his brother. And it's like, do you want a fucking DNA test? But it was just the way she said it, and I thought, I will hurt you.
It's like, don't pull that shit. Pull that
I think
shit.
she figured it out.
She did, because she did back off, and she did lighten up a little bit.
And so the gentleman that was the veteran and stuff, he was just sort of laughing because he thought, she's going to throw down. She is going to throw down. And it could have happened. Somebody was talking about Gen X today as far as this, always that threat of violence. Yeah, because we're half feral.
That's true.
It's just how we are.
Yeah. It's like Kiska.
Sort of. No. But that's our stinky cat.
Yeah, but not crusty, not grody. Like, where he's half feral.
Oh, well, yeah. But anyhow, it was just one of those, they said, we can't give you any information because HIPAA, unless he gives consent. I cracked the door. I said, hey, will you give consent to where these people can tell me the lab results? And he's like, yeah.
Get this. She said that we had to keep that door closed, yet she left it wide open as we were leaving.
Yes. We'll get to that. I'm doing this in, chronologically. So the veteran he was just laughing. I said, I got a question. What if you have somebody that is unconscious and they can't give consent for a family member to find out what's going on? And he's like, well, then there's a problem. I said, yes, because then attorneys get called and it gets messy. Now, this is some of this bureaucracy that is just beyond stupid.
Well, that's when they need to have a document or whatever for people to sign. Be like, yes, I am who, whatever. Yes, this person has permission to do this.
No, we need to return to fucking common sense. We do.
That would be preferable. But
instead of having, I've got to have this document, show me these papers, and say, fuck that. No. So I stood there at the door for a minute and I did come back, and she did explain to me what was going on and everything like that. And there's still weirdness, and I still don't believe it's COVID because he has had no symptoms. None. And they're like, well, he's probably had this for a long time. No symptoms. Oh, you're sick. You have no symptoms, but you're sick. That's called fucking gaslighting.
Yeah.
And I'm not playing it.
He has none of his symptoms correlate with COVID
None.
at all.
None.
So the fact that they're saying that it's COVID, I am so sick of them using that as a fucking umbrella term at this point.
Yeah. Because they get money for it. I damn well guarantee you, if you follow the money, there's still COVID funds if you get that diagnosis. And to sit there and go, do not let them inject you with anything.
Well, that's why I was like, I saw her pull out like the needle and the syringe thing, and I'm like, what the fuck are you about to put in him?
Well, the thing is, where he's on an IV, somebody could put something in an IV and you would never fucking know.
Right.
That pisses me off. The fact that they wouldn't let BB stay in the room with him last night, that pisses me off. She had been in there with him all damn day. But it's like, oh no, you got to go sleep in this little alcove. Anyhow, I had the door open and I was talking to Kid, and from a safe distance and stuff like that. And then BB came out and she said, Elijah just said something must be really wrong if Mama came all the way down here and she won't come in the room and hug me. Buddies, let me tell you something. That door got flung wide and I went in there and I hugged my baby. And then the nurse came back and just, you're not wearing the paper. And I did not give a shit, and I dared her.
Because that's your son.
Who
that is your child. That is your baby.
Who in the hell thinks a piece of paper is going to prevent anything?
A very porous piece of paper at that.
It's a fucking piece. Must be magical paper. And
like
I
that
asked
episode
her,
of SpongeBob with the magical
Right.
chewing gum paper.
I said, why don't y'all just simply have a can of Lysol outside the room and people could spray each other down?
Yeah.
And she looked at me like, I don't know why. Why don't we have that?
I think
UV light. You could have a little room that has UV light in it that somebody could stand there for a few seconds because they've proven that does kill viruses.
There's these little boxes that you can put your phone in, and these came about during COVID or whatever, and they are UV light boxes.
Yeah.
And I think they even had them beforehand, because when I was in beauty school, that's where we would sterilize a lot of our equipment with.
Yes, and they can make some people sized. You just stand in there for 10, 15 seconds and that's it?
Yeah. Basically just cook for like 20 seconds and that's it.
So I made it out without an assault charge. I really did. But it just absolutely astounding, the stupidity. They thought that the doctor was going to come and speak, and then she comes back and she's like, oh, and just had to go someplace else. Oldest kid is happy with the doctor. Oldest kid is not able to remember all that he needs to ask the physician because he's not feeling well. And it's like, somebody please find out why this child has suffered severe nausea for years. Please. And to sit there and go, yes, you have SIBO. And it's because of overusage of antibiotics.
Do you think the SIBO's why he's nauseous all the time?
Yes, they did say that. So what did they give him to fight the SIBO? More fucking antibiotics.
He needs probiotics, yogurt, kimchi, stuff like that.
That was what the nurse said. But somehow because
kombucha.
Again, doctors, God help. Overusage of antibiotics. And when you leave somebody on antibiotics for weeks and months on end, which he did do that, then it was from a dermatologist. And it will totally just decimate your gut biome. Totally. Anytime anybody does a round of antibiotics, it's after you finish it, you really need to do, the probiotics. And that does include the fermented foods and stuff like that, because that helps put the healthy bacteria back into your gut.
I can dig a hole in the yard and we can make some kimchi.
Yeah, really. And at some point, oldest kid got the idea from somebody somewhere that when I had given him a round of probiotics after the antibiotics, that was what had caused the SIBO. Somehow misinformed. So that was the reason that he would not. So when he finished the round to try to kill the bacteria, the SIBO, which is, again, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, nobody followed up. The doctor didn't give him a follow-up appointment. His primary is just somebody that if I see him out on the street, I may have to be hollering at y'all to send me money, put money on my books so I can buy soups. Those who know. Yeah. It's just astounding. And so one of the things that I did accomplish today, we have our local representative. I sent an email to that person. I said, I would like to explain what's going on in Southwest Virginia. I also put a X post, a tweet, whatever the hell you call them. And it's like Bobby Kennedy, the lady that was his running mate, Elon Musk. I sent it to the governor of our state that I can't think of his name right now. And I sent it to the AG. It's... And it's like, do I expect anybody to say, hey, what's going on with you? Probably not, because there are thousands of us that this shit's happening to. Mm-hmm. Daily.
Have these people forgot that someone shot one of the medical people, CEOs? Have they completely forgot about that, or are they fighting back even harder because of that?
That's the payment of the procedures. We're talking about the qualification and the competency of medical staff today, because it didn't used to be this way.
No, like y'all actually had to train and study for your shit. These people get through like just dumbasses.
I don't know how they're doing it. And as far as general practitioners, when I was growing up, if you went to the doctor was competent. That did not mean that he never made a mistake, but by shit, he knew what he was talking about. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just always pushing a pill.
Right.
So it's been maddening.
They don't even know what's in the pills.
Right. They do not say, we're getting ready to give you this medication. It is used to treat this. These are the potential side effects of this. And then giving you an option. They don't do that when you are in the hospital. They just automatically give you whatever. Mm-hmm. That's wrong.
That is wrong.
Because how in the hell can you have patient consent if the patient doesn't know what they're consenting to?
Didn't you mention it to that one dude?
I did.
And he agreed with you there.
Yes, because I'm not a stupid person.
It's like...
And those who work in the medical profession at this point in time, and I do have a level of empathy. A level. Not all of them are horrible. But the ones that are not horrible still have to try to pick up the slack of the ones who are.
Question, what if someone goes into that field, like does the training, all that, through medical school, becomes a doctor, and then it's like, okay, now I'm going to go to herbalism and I'm going to really help people.
Yeah, they can do that. There's quite a few of them that have been doing that.
Okay.
You know, and as far as alternative healing, the holistic doctors is basically what you're talking about, that they're not tied, they're not married to allopathic Western medicine alone. Mm-hmm. These are the ones that will take from, Ayurveda and Chinese medicine and massage therapy and aromatherapy and acupuncture. And there are so many amazing tools out there to help people truly heal. But within Western medicine, the AMA and all that stuff, they are just absolutely, literally killing people. Like I said, when I was in nursing, those people in pre-med that were cheating their way through basic anatomy, they're out there somewhere. And if they cheated on something that simple, what else did they cheat on?
Right. It's scary to think about that sort of thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, damn.
Oh, yeah. And then you've got to realize how many people graduated that were under this DEI shit.
Oh, no. We ain't going to go into the woke shit.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Oh, the woke.
That was the main thing, that they decided to turn out people that's... What if it was like some of the air traffic controllers where they were... wanted to be inclusive of people that had severe mental health issues and different things like that, because though they were underrepresented. Well, the reason they were underrepresented is because not everybody is qualified to be an air traffic controller. Mm-hmm. Not everybody is qualified to be a physician or a nurse or some of these other... It's just, yeah.
Some of these people just need to stay. They need to stay home, stay in their own lanes. They don't need to go into these big brain things that they cannot do.
Right.
They need to, like something like pottery, simple.
Well, everybody can do something, but that does not mean that they get to do what they want to do if they're not capable.
Right.
That's not hard. But this is the psychological warfare that our nation and our world has been under for years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's like, just like I told that veteran, I said, I refuse to allow my sons to be cannon fodder for some politician wanting to grow poppies and heroin and continue to fuel the drug trade. I don't want them to be cannon fodder for the fucking medical system and Fauci. And paranoid. We are all paranoid, and rightfully so.
Yeah. We have every right to be paranoid.
Yeah. I want to know what does the label say on that shit? You bring me a drug, whatever it is, let me read it for myself, and then I will decide whether I want it put in my body or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's an extreme amount of trust. Mm-hmm. And we've had family members. My grandfather was in the hospital, and we didn't stay with him. This is why we believe in people staying with their people.
Yes.
I had went and seen him the night before or whatever it was, and he was fine, had talked to him. We still had the lawn care business at that point. Talked to him that morning. He was fine. He had pneumonia was what it was. Went in to see him the next day. They had moved his room close to the nurse's station. Didn't say anything about why. I went in and looked at the man, and he was non-responsive. Went out and told the nurse, and they're like, he's sleeping. I said, he's non-responsive. His lips are blue. Mm-hmm. He's fucking cyanotic.
And did she give you like a blank stare or something after that?
The man was dying.
I understand that. What did they actually do after that?
Oh, they actually did get their ass in gear, because it was like, oh shit, somebody actually knows something. Somebody's actually willing to stand up and speak out. Mm-hmm. Be that person.
People need to
be that person for yourself and for others.
Yes. Speak out. If you see something wrong, call it out.
Patients' rights advocate. If you say, I want a print out of whatever it is, legally they're supposed to give that to you. Mm-hmm. That is your information. And that was just like her oldest kid had asked for the printout, and they're like, oh, go to the patient portal. And they were like, oh, well, HIPAA. Youngest kid over there is like, oh, yeah, because how many things have been hacked before?
Right. It seems more safe and secure to give them a physical copy of something than keeping it in a database in the cloud.
Yeah. Because if I have a manila envelope with whatever information, I don't have to worry about somebody in India. I mean, why would they even care? Seriously.
All they do is, like, people in India, fuck, they sell that data.
For what purpose?
Fraudulent stuff?
There's
I don't know.
something going on, and I had even asked Gronk about that. What are they doing with the stolen data?
I'm wondering if they're planning on cloning people.
That's possible. I don't know. But it's not to sell more cheap shit like Temu.
Right. Because that's stuff that you can't sell that shit on Temu.
Well, I mean, I'm saying as far as them selling data so that they can tailor the advertisements to people. No. They're going to, there's something else that we're not being told about.
Right.
Something that's probably so horrific that it would blow all our minds.
Well, that's why I don't really like having blood drawn. I don't like having buccal swabs or anything like that. Anything that collects DNA. I do not like the idea of that. Because cloning shit... Now, listen. Y'all may think I'm fucking crazy, but I have seen some shit that I really cannot unsee. Cloning is real.
Yeah. I believe that. As
They
far
got
as...
the deep dark, and people are like, oh, the shadow government, ha 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 ha.
We're seeing it.
Thinking it's a bunch of bullshit. No, it's real.
Well, as far as the
They
possibility...
got technology out the ass that we can't even comprehend, and if we saw it, we would lose our minds.
Well, and that's the reason that the government hates Bobby Kennedy on some of this stuff, because he flat out talked about bioweapons that were designed to target specific groups of people. Mm-hmm. He said it because it's true.
Yes.
And these people that have this horrible aversion of, oh, you can't speak truth. Speak it louder. Speak it louder.
Yes. Call that
Be the
shit
one.
out.
Be the one that calls your representatives. Be the one that, if it doesn't matter if no one reads the post, it's there. Maybe at some point somebody will read it. Mm-hmm. Maybe at some point it'll inspire somebody else to send their own tweet to whoever it is.
Right.
And then enough of them. You know, we have been the voice crying in the wilderness for years. But we're still doing it because words have power.
Words do have power.
And for each and every one of you all who took the time to think about us and to pray for our family, God love you. Thank you.
Yeah, seriously, thank you all. Like, your comments meant a lot to us, and your prayers, they just mean the world.
Yeah. And Robert
They
Phoenix,
mean
for him
everything
to
us.
for him to take the time during his show on Sunday night to, for those who had, not everybody follows as far as the chat because they just don't, and for him to verbally say, please pray for Warlanda's son. Mm-hmm. That meant a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's like my energy level, I'm running on Sudafed and adrenaline.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah.
You're running on fumes.
Yeah, been running on fumes for a long time.
Praying, like, literally when I got home, well, I am home. This is my home. When I got down to Nana's home, praying after talking with her, it's like I'm like on my knees in the shower, praying, like being like, Lord, don't take my brother away.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
Well,
Please heal him on all levels, mind, body, spirit, soul, all of them.
And just sit there and go, please, God, let somebody figure out what has been wrong with this kid for years. Mm-hmm. You know, so that he can truly be healed and can go forward and do what God put him here to do.
Yes.
Because that is a level of hell to sit and watch someone suffer and you can't do anything. That feeling of helplessness is a lower level of hell. It's hell within hell, especially when it's your kid.
Mm-hmm. it's
so it's
just abhorrent.
Yeah. And it's just, and I've gone through this with other people and thought I am fucking weary. just listening to Veteran of the Psychic Wars as we were coming home.
Mm-hmm.
And that line, wounds are all I'm made of. But I still remember my last sensei, and he said, when you're tired, fight harder. When you feel defeated, fight harder. When you think you can't go on, fight harder.
Yep, yep.
So, that's just words of advice from a halfway feral Gen X Appalachian mama. That's a damn... That's a bad combination. It's one of those, I'll run somebody's ass over in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, don't.
It's like, you don't fuck with our family.
No, not my kids. Don't. So that has been the screaming. And youngest kid is going down to stay with 80-year-old mother so that she's not by herself, because we do not need her filing in the middle of the night or something like that. That would be horrible.
And where I'm sleeping in that house, I'm right there at her room, so I could hear her anytime.
Yeah.
She did good last night.
Yeah.
I didn't hear her get up, and hardly any. It seemed like she actually had to.
She was exhausted. She was just exhausted, and the worry and the stress about grandbaby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, pray for us if you would.
Prayers are needed and very much appreciated. Thank you all, seriously, for all your prayers, all your kind words. Thank you.
And hopefully we can get back to our mirthful, poddling pirate foolishness, which is why that we do that. It gives us a break from our reality.
It does. Is something going on with the planetary alignments that's
Always.
causing this shit?
Always. Right now. I mean, seriously, always. You want to tell them where we can be found?
You can find us on BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube at Rolanda's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Also, check her out on X, previously known as Twitter, Warlanda, COCWS.
Know that you are loved.
Mm-hmm.
Treat other people the way you would like to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Thank you all. Have a good.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.